Hi, it's Rupert Hine here from Action Coach near Kinross, and I'm joined today by Kitti Majoran from EN-ABLE. Welcome, Kitti.
Thank you very much for having me.
So tell us who or what is EN-ABLE?
Okay, so Enable is going through a bit of a change at the moment, so it's a good time to ask that question. So Enable is kind of becoming two separate entities. So on one hand, so Enable is an international marketing consulting firm, or at least that's what it was, but now it's taking a new shape. So on one hand, we began building a community for business owners that want to do business internationally, and our intention is to create the most effective community for international business growth. The founding members in this space, because it's in its early days, so we're just after the first soft launch, and we have another soft launch. So during this time, the people that we recruit or invite into this community all play a key role in business development. And every single person kind of falls into a category of business development, if you like. We have people with finance background, we have people with sales and marketing, we have operations, legal, and mindset and well-being as well. And the goal, like I said, is to mastermind and to help each other grow our businesses internationally by giving this holistic support to everyone who comes into this space. So that's one side of what Enable is becoming. And the other side of what's Enable becoming is an automation and AI agency for large organizations that want to become more effective, want to have more streamlined processes. So we've worked with automation and AI through the international marketing services that we've been offering, and we feel like there's a much bigger need for those things. And we're also managed to land some very cool partnerships with automation and AI startups from the US. So basically, we decided to kind of take a pivot into that direction. So yeah, so that's the two separate entities.
Wow, so that's a fairly huge breadth of stuff that you're covering there. How
Yeah.
did you get into creating EN-ABLE in the first place?
Well, I wanted to start a business because I've always been quite like free spirited, I suppose. And actually I was like 29 years old when I had my first full-time job ever. Until then, I was always a freelancer or worked part-time. And of course, I was a student and worked on the side. But even between my undergrad and master's and I had like a period of a few years when I was working part-time or freelancing. So after my master's, going into my first real job, if you like, I felt a little bit like, I don't know, out of place. I felt like I missed my freedom and I missed my authority, I suppose, like to be able to kind of make decisions and then follow up with those decisions, not having to wait for other people or things like that. So I started thinking like maybe I should start a business. I mean, I had like a small English teaching service that I was doing even before my master's. So I suppose that could be classified as my first business, though I didn't really have structure that would like it didn't have like a proper business structure around it. That's one of the reasons why I went back to do a master's in international marketing, because I felt like I needed skills to build something out more properly, if you like. So I already had this intention of starting my own business, but then I thought like I'll go into corporate and see what it's like, maybe get some experience. So I did. So I was there for 1.5 years, working with the university. But actually, I was 6 months into my role when I started working on building a business. So yeah, so that's how I just really missed my freedom, I would say. And then yeah, just the ability to kind of be the visionary and make decisions and follow up on those decisions, without having to wait for other people to approve it. So that was also a desire of mine. And then I wanted to create, I wasn't sure what kind of business to build, but obviously I had a lot of experience with languages. I have been teaching a foreign language on the side since I was 19, whether I was like giving like I've given Italian lessons at one point and English lessons a lot. So I thought I would create like a language academy And then I wanted to create a language academy specifically for entrepreneurs. So that's how the name Enable came, because like EN stands for English and also entrepreneurs. So that was like the first vision, but there's been a few pivots since there. So since then, so yeah.
So you mentioned your time in the corporate world working for the university. What would you say is the biggest thing you learned through that experience that's helped you when you've created your own business?
Mm. I mean, a lot of practical skills, definitely. So coming out of masters, I had a lot of theoretical knowledge, and I thought I had some practical, and they do give you as much practical knowledge as possible at masters, but it's still not the same as actually working in the field and seeing how things are built. So that, and also a lot of confidence. I was so lucky. My line manager was amazing, super supportive, and really believed in me and saw things in me that I didn't even see at the time. So it built a lot of confidence in me that I can do it. And overall, he was was always very supportive. He had been a business owner before, so he had lots of insights that I could, use for myself. So that was good. I learned that I had good ideas, and I had it in me to kind of succeed. So yeah, I mean, my master's, I did very well in my master's. I graduated with a distinction, but I still felt like I needed some like quote unquote real life proof. I guess you always search for these proofs. I don't do that anymore. I tend to validate myself. I feel like I've grown up a little bit, matured a little bit since, but at the time, it was exactly what I needed to gain that confidence to kind of go out on my own and feel like I can do this and believe in myself.
Brilliant. So you mentioned that you're still fairly early in that business
Yeah.
journey.
Mm-hmm.
You're what, year and a half just over into that
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah, so I decided to build a business in May 2022, and then I actually started taking action. So over the summer, I was mostly reading and started conversations with people, and then in September, I started taking action of 2022, and then we became officially a business in February 2023. So yeah, it's still early days.
And you've now got your first team member working with you.
So we had a team member, but unfortunately it didn't work out. I have a business partner, so we are working as a team. Together is also my life partner. So we're really good at having complementary strengths. And I invited him to join me just before we kind of registered officially as a business. I invited because he had been supporting me anyway, and I thought, why not make it official? So we've been working on this together, and now we actually have another business which is completely separate from Enable that we're also working on. So we are quite enjoying this entrepreneurial life and working together.
So what are the lessons that you've learned in terms of building that core of a team? So at the moment, it's you and your life partner.
Yeah.
You've had someone else in the mix
Yeah.
along the way. You're running multiple businesses. What's the importance of that team?
Uh, I mean, so much. But I actually, let me correct. So it really depends, if you find the right people, it really means the world to have that kind of support. The people that you can outsource to tasks, fully trusting that they can do what you're telling them. And most importantly, if you can find people who complement your strengths, and they can really add value to what you can already bring to the table, that's very, very powerful. I think one of the mistakes I made hiring prematurely was that I basically hired someone who was very similar to me, had very similar strengths. So it was a little bit difficult to kind of, like help her develop and for her as well to kind of bring value that I couldn't bring to the business. So a big lesson is, I think, looking for people who are not a mini you, I suppose, but rather someone who can really complement your strengths, like knowing that you are a whole on your own and you are perfectly capable of doing this, but looking at, okay, what are the things that I don't enjoy doing? For me, there's a lot of things around numbers I don't necessarily enjoy. There's a lot of things around tech I don't necessarily enjoy. So having a business partner who's excellent at these things, it's really super helpful, because then equally he doesn't really enjoy the content side of things, especially writing, or like at the beginning he wasn't necessarily comfortable selling, which I was quite comfortable with, but now he's getting there as well. So yeah, so having like those complementing skill sets, and I think going forward with when we're ready to hire, which I think will be soon enough, is I'm gonna look for the types of people who can do the things that I don't necessarily enjoy and do it with enjoyment, for them to be this enjoyable rather than just a task that they have to do, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. It's fascinating. You're right. Having that diversity of both views, skills, and
Mm,
the way people work is so powerful in a business.
exactly.
So you mentioned there that your technology is not your favorite
Hmm.
piece of the job, and yet you also said that you're part of Enable is about building AI and cutting edge tech into it.
Right, so that is the part, like I said, we're kind of creating two separate entities. So that is the part that my business partner is looking after. So there I mostly just do the networking part, finding the right types of clients and strategizing on that angle. But then he takes over the projects and he does all the work. I focus on the community building because that's uh, my passion, and I find a lot of enjoyment there. So that's something that he doesn't have an awful lot with, just a bit here and there if I need to, but I take full lead on that, and I'm building that and making sure everything is running smoothly. And yeah, I'm very much a people's person, although he is as well, but he's also really good with the technological side of things, whereas I'm very much a people's person. So we kind of decided, like, let's leverage the strengths that we have and go into these two different directions, because this way we can help both small businesses and large organizations, which is great because we can create really good impact whilst also having a variety of revenue channels, which can create stability in our business. But also we get to like each focus on the things that makes us happiest and we're best at.
So lots of us in our businesses should be building that community.
Mm.
What's your advice to someone who's starting out to build a community around their business? Where should they start?
Mm. I think the most important is that the community has a common goal. People in the community are working towards a common goal, because that way you can get people excited about wanting to be part of it and get people to see the value in it, because you get ongoing support and accountability whilst you're working towards reaching your goal. So whether that goal is, I don't know, to lose some weight, or to get over some type of grief, or not get over, sorry, to process some type of grief, or to raise the children in a certain way until a certain age, or build the business internationally, which is our thing. It's the most important is that they have a common goal that people work towards, because there's that. Yeah, that's how people get excited about it and wanting to join, because it's one of our primary needs as human beings, the need to belong. So people actually want to be part of these communities. Now, that's not to say it's for everyone, because some people, the same way, like, it is my enjoyment, some people may not find enjoyment in this, and if you don't force yourself just because everybody in the industry does it. I think that's one of the biggest learnings I learned in my fairly short period as an entrepreneur, is that if you just try to do what everyone else is doing just because that's what's trending or that's what looks like a good way of making money, you end up shooting yourself in the foot. So instead, just follow what feels right to you. For me, in my case, it felt really right. I really felt like I wanted to support entrepreneurs in a much more holistic way than I can on my own. I wanted to make sure that everybody who kind of invests into my company gets a lot of support, not just from marketing, but from other angles as well, because there's so much more to business than just marketing or just finance. And I just felt very passionate about it, and that's why I created this space. And yeah, I think because we have the common goal and we're working towards that together, it just makes it very desirable for people. It also helps if you invite people in rather than just putting it out there saying like, this is my community, this is how much it costs to join. Especially at the start, if you make a point of inviting people and people who seem special to you, who seem like they're a good fit, like actually doing your research, and based on that inviting people into the space, that also helps, because of course people are going to want to belong there more because they feel like their contribution is so highly valued. So it's about, yeah, thinking about that, because I tried to build the community last year and I built it in that way, kind of like, here it is, join if you want to. And it built super fast. Like, I think we reached over 100 members in like just over 3 weeks. So it was insane. But then we couldn't engage the people. Everybody was just kind of there for the sake of being there. So we ended up destroying it and rebuilding it. And now I'm building it very slowly and very strategically. And I invite every single person into it, and I make sure every single person plays a key role and fits into the community. I talk to everyone. And so yeah, so that's, I would recommend to take it easy, take it slowly, and make sure that especially your founding members are specially selected to be there, because then that's how they can become advocates for your community as well, and that's how you can then grow the community. If you have a strong foundation, then it's much easier.
Fantastic. So, it's about that, having that common goal, encouraging that diversity, just as you were talking about with the team, and being very deliberate about how you do it, being very intentional.
Exactly.
There's some brilliant lessons for people. It's whether that's about building the community, building the team, or just creating the organization.
Yeah.
They're great things that people can take. But thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a cracking conversation,
Thank you for
and wish you all the success as EN-ABLE continues to build and branches in its different ways.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. And thank you for having me. It was such a pleasure. So yeah,
Not a problem. The pleasure's all mine.
thank you.